KP classes dedicated to excellence.
Welcome to this introductory class for the DDA Recruitment 2025. As you are aware, we have an official notification released by the Delhi Development Authority on 12th of September. It has been a couple of days, 4 days to be precise. And in that initial notification, there is only information regarding the number of vacancies and the names of the posts. So, of the list of posts for the graduates of architecture and planning, there are mainly 6 relevant posts. So if I leave aside the architect for landscape architect, other than that, there are 6 major posts. You have assistant architect, deputy architect for both architects and similarly planner, deputy director, assistant director, architect, deputy director, assistant director, planning, and also you have planning assistant and architectural assistant. These 6 are the relevant posts for architects and planners. In today's session, we will be having a discussion with respect to the details of this notification, along with an understanding of the syllabus based on the past trends and the important topics, what have been the core areas from which questions have been asked. We'll try to discuss these areas in today's session. So to give you an overview of the session first, so this will be approximately say half an hour or 45 minutes long session. If you have any queries during the session as well, you can put your queries into the chat. I'll take up your questions towards the end of the session. So to first begin with the overview, what are we going to discuss in this short session for today? Our discussion firstly would be focused on the vacancies and the qualification requirement for each of the posts. So name of the post, the number of vacancies as per the preliminary notification, and the qualification requirement. So if you look into the brief notification released by the DDA authorities, there is no detail of the qualification and age criteria given yet. You have only the information on the number of open positions, number of vacancies, and the reservation, or how many posts are in the reserved category. Only the number is given. The qualification requirement based on the past trend. So DDA similarly has recruited architects and planners in the year 2019, in the year 2020 again, in the year 2022, and also in the year 2023 again. So if you look into the last couple of years, let us say last 7 years, if you see, there have been 4 such requirements, similar notifications were released. So based on the qualification requirement every time has been same. It is expected to be same this year also. So we'll be having a discussion on the qualification and age criteria, and then we'll be focusing on the past syllabus because we don't have an official syllabus yet. The good thing is a good thing about the DDA requirement process, they will give you the complete detailed syllabus and the requirement process right away when the notification is released. So we can expect a notification probably within the next week or so, because the exam also is tentatively in the month of December and January, which is not very far away. So we can expect a full notification very soon to be released, and the complete official syllabus will be given. If you look at the past trends, DDA generally introduces minor changes, not any major change in the syllabus. We'll have a discussion on the past syllabus. And in the past, it has been observed that the questions in the question paper of the exam are not always 100% aligned with the syllabus. Majority of the question paper will be aligned with the syllabus. DDA particularly, unlike other government examinations, going point by point as per the official syllabus might not be sufficient always. You should have an understanding on what are the additional gray areas around the syllabus from which questions can be asked. So we'll have a discussion on that. And then I'll take you through the list of subjects. So basically, the syllabus is mentioned in sections, and within each section, there could be multiple subjects. And sometimes if you see in the DDA syllabus, particularly, let us say, for example, architectural assistant, the mention of structural design will be twice in 2 sections. So we'll have an understanding on the subject list. What are the subjects to be covered for the examination? And towards the end, we'll also have a discussion along with the list of subjects. We'll have a discussion on the past mark distribution analysis based on the past paper. What are the areas from which major questions have been asked for various posts, and also we'll have a discussion on what are the areas which additionally might be asked, which are considered out of syllabus but asked in the examination. So we'll try to have some observations based on the marks distribution of the past paper for architecture and planning assistant mainly. So let me first take you through the vacancies and the qualification requirements, the introductory part, the basic part first, understanding the number of vacancies and qualification. That is very straightforward thing. So let us quickly go through that for the posts we have under this. So as you can see, the preliminary notification released on 12th, there are important dates mentioned on it. So at the point of time you're attending this session, we just have a preliminary notification. The website link is not yet live. So the portal where you can apply for the post, that is not yet live. It will be starting from 6th of October, the next month, 6th of October 2025. would be the starting date for the website link, and the closing date you will have good amount of time of 1 month approximately to complete your application. Many people considering that okay, there is 1 month of time and let's wait. That is not a right approach. So you should not wait till the last moment. Keep that in mind right away in the beginning. If you are eligible, if you are targeting when the link opens on 6th, maximum you can take 2 or 3 days to compile your certificates and all and go through the details required, and try to finish it within the first week itself. Never wait till the last moment, because you never know what additional documents you might need to procure in the process of completing the application, and if there are any errors, how to rectify it. Because these people, if you have any query with respect to the portal not functioning or uploading a document, if you even reach out to them, it will take some time, because there is a way of working. So it will take some time for them to reply to so many queries also, if you have any queries. So you should not be in such state that you are not able to complete the application by the end of the last date. So don't wait till the last date. That's important point to remember. As far as the computer based test is considered, so one thing to remember for planning assistant and architectural assistant, which is a level 7 post where only bachelor's is required, there is no master's degree required, or there's no work experience required. For planning assistant and architectural assistant, for these two posts, the requirement will be based purely through the computer based test only. There is no interview, there is no other round, there is only the computer based test, and then your verification of the documents. Document verification is a standard step for any requirement of any government agency. So the main selection would be only based on computer based test for the level 7 posts mainly, that is architectural assistant, planning assistant, with only bachelor's as required. For the other post, for the assistant director and deputy director posts, you will have a computer based test and also an interview round. There will be 2 stages for the selection after the, but one thing common for all the 6 posts we are talking about, computer based test will be conducted. Can you apply for multiple posts in terms of application? You can generally apply. However, once we get the detailed notification, those scenarios of what happens when you apply for multiple positions, that will be clearly outlined in the official notification once it's out. Generally you can apply for multiple posts. However, if there is any conflict on the exam date for multiple posts, then you will need to select any one, and you can attempt only one exam obviously. So we'll need to wait for the official notification for those intricate details. And lastly, the tentative schedule for the computer based test is expected in the month of December or January. The exact date is not yet out. In due course of time, it would be published. But one thing clear is you don't have a half a 6 months or 8 months for preparation. The exam is expected in the month of, in worst case in the month of December. In best case scenario, considering you have a lot of time, probably in the month of January, but not more than that. We are already in the mid of September. So you should not wait for the website to open on 6th of October and then start your preparation. It will always be, you lose already 15-20 days of your time. And this is a crucial time to prepare for such a competitive test, because it is expected to be highly competitive. Just to give you an overview, Delhi Development Authority, what are the pros, what are the advantages? Number one, it comes directly under the central government of India. So Delhi Development Authority, if you're working in that, it is a central government position under the 7th pay commission at this point of time, and it would become 8th pay commission once that is live, probably within a year or so. Other than that, generally, unlike other public service commissions or other requirements, Delhi Development Authorities posting would be within the Delhi or Delhi NCR. So it will be, it's not widespread across. Like for instance, if you talk about UPSC, if you get recruited into it, your posting could be anywhere across India. So this is one of the advantages in DDA. So considering these, if that aligns with your future aspirations, I would strongly recommend you to start your preparation at the earliest. So that's an introductory part with respect to the important dates and timeline as per the notification. And in this regard, let me also tell you about our classes. We are going to start our batches for the preparation of DDA examination from 20th of this month. So you can enroll before 20th to start your classes from 20th September itself. So if you are interested and want to enroll, I hope you have a contact number 95. I'll just write it over here, 9560252666. You can post a message or drop a message over here on WhatsApp, or you can give a call on that number and enroll into the 20th September batch and in your preparation right away with the live classes in the beginning. Now let us move on to the notification details with respect to the qualification and also the number of vacancies we have. So let me first start with the planning assistant. Now out of these 6 posts, I'll also talk about what courses we are going to, or when you're enrolling into the classes, which positions or which courses are going to be covered. I'll have a discussion on that in the detail as we move ahead. Firstly, planning assistant, for which we are going to have the classes starting from 20th September. This is a level 7 post of group B, and the maximum age limit for this is 30. So only those who are 30 or below 30 can apply for this post. Generally, the cutoff date for the age criteria will be the last date of application. In our case, the last date of application is 5th of November. Generally, that is the case. So before 5th of November, you should be less than 30 years to be eligible for application. As far as the qualification requirement is considered for the planning assistant, Aditi, no, that's what I was telling you. There will be a separate course for, because the syllabus is not same, obviously. Few subjects which are overlapping. For example, let us say history of architecture. That is in the syllabus for architectural assistant, planning assistant, and assistant director planning also. So for such minor topics which are common in all, probably we'll be having a common lecture. But other than that, because the syllabus is not same, the classes also will not. If you're targeting for multiple posts, you'll need to enroll into both the batches separately. Anyways, coming on to the planning assistant part, you can any other query also you people can put it into the chat. Majority of the questions I'll take at towards the end of the session. So the qualification requirement is just bachelor's in architecture or bachelor's in planning from a recognized university or equivalent. So in simple terms, the requirement is either B plan or BArch. There is no other work experience required. There is no master's degree required for the planning assistant post as per the notification. This, we don't have a detailed notification yet, but for the last 4 notifications, wherever planning assistant, whenever there was a requirement for planning assistant, this was the criteria always. As far as the number of vacancies in this time's notification is considered, there are a total of 23 vacancies, of which 17 are for the unreserved category. There is 1 vacancy for the EWS category, 1 for SC category, 3 in the ST category, and 1 for the OBC or the backward caste. And in OBC category, this is a backlog position, not some backlog vacancy, not something very important to be noted. Just remember that you have a good number of vacancies and a huge number of vacancies in the open category too. 17 vacancies, 23 overall. Um, so I think Gautami has a question. Getting past his masters in urban planning. Okay, I think there are a lot of questions already coming in, so I'll take the questions towards the end. Let's have patience. Let me first complete my discussion, and then I'll take up your questions. That's with respect to the number of vacancies for the planning assistant. Moving on to the architectural assistant, this also is a level B or a group B position with level 7 pay scale as per 7th pay commission, and the age limit again is 30 years before the cutoff date, and the qualification requirement for architectural assistant is just BArch. No other qualification, BTech Civil or B Planner, not eligible for the architectural assistant. Only bachelor's in architecture. That is the qualification requirement. It is not mentioned generally in the notification that you should have been registered with COA, Council of Architecture, but in general, that is always a criteria which becomes important, at least in the future stages. So if you have completed your BArch recently, do not delay and get your COA certification at the earliest, COA number at the earliest, because it might be required in the future rounds, at least if not before the exam. So that's with respect to the qualification. As far as the number of vacancies are considered, there are a total of 9 vacancies for the architectural assistant post, of which 4 are for the unreserved category, 1 for EWS, 1 for SE, 1 for STN, 2 in the OBC category. So that's with respect to the number of vacancies for the architectural assistant post. Now these two are level 7 posts. Like I said, for these 2 posts, planning assistant and architectural assistant, the requirement is only based on a single round of selection. That is only computer based. If you top the exam, you will directly be selected. That's it. There is no interview generally in the level 7 posts of DDA. Other than this, the syllabus part, we will come to it in a while, and there is no work experience also required for these 2 posts. Now moving on to the assistant director vacancies. Firstly, assistant director and assistant director planning. In this year's notification, you have vacancies for both assistant director planning and assistant director architect also. So assistant director planning is a group A position, and this one will be of level 10 pay scale. Generally, in most of the central government jobs, level 10 is considered to be a top level of entry level, the topmost entry level possible without work experience generally. So assistant director planning, the it is of level 10 pay scale as per 7th pay commission. The age limit is 35 years is the age limit before the cutoff date. As far as the qualifications are considered, there are 2 categories, essential and desirable. Essential category is the bare minimum required for you to apply for the post. Desirable is basically in the future rounds, if there are basically conflict, if there are say 2 candidates with same marks, then someone with a desirable qualification also will be given additional weightage and additional marks for the selection. So that's how it works. So you can apply for the post and you can write the exam only if you meet the essential qualifications. So what are the essential qualifications for assistant director planning as per the past notifications? You need to have your bachelor's. Bachelor's is a bit flexible. You can have it in planning or architecture or civil engineering or municipal engineering, or even a master's degree in geography, sociology, economics from any university. So you have flexibility at the bachelor's level. But along with that, this is an even more important criteria. So at the bachelor's level, you could be from any background, but it is important that you have your post graduation in planning, master's in planning basically, with specialization in any of the fields mentioned here. You should either have your M-Plan in town planning or city planning or urban planning or housing, transport, environmental planning from recognized university. So these are the mentioned, or equivalent is also mentioned. It is generally assumed that if you have an M-Plan degree, that should be suitable enough for you to apply. That should be sufficient enough for you to meet the essential qualification. However, they have also mentioned the detailed specializations which you need to have your masters in. Now it becomes a bit vague. Like I said, other M-Plan degrees also generally would be eligible because or equivalent is mentioned. That's with respect to the essential qualification. No work experience is required here. In simple terms, BArch or B-Plan or B.Tech Civil with a master's in planning. Coming to the desirable qualification, additionally, you will be given importance if you have these desirable qualification of degree or diploma in GIS, basically Geographic Information System, or geoinformatics or equivalent from a recognized university or institute. So if you have any PG diploma or degree in GIS or geoinformatics, that is also considered to be a desirable qualification. And also associate membership of ITPI, Institute of Town Planners India. So ITPI registration also is given important. So someone who has completed the M-Plan very recently, and if you are planning or targeting for this post, do not delay before getting your associate membership with ITPI at the earliest, so that you will also have an additional desirable qualification met. Make a note of that if you're targeting for assistant director planning. As far as the number of vacancies, again, this is a good number of vacancies after 2019. This time again you have a good number of vacancies for this post. Total number of vacancies is 19, of which 10 are for the unreserved category, 2 for EWS, 3 for SC, 1 for ST, and 3 in the OBC category. So that's the breakup of the vacancies as per the notification released. Then talking about assistant director architect. Now I'm sure each one of you at your personal level might be interested only in 1 or 2 posts, but this is a common session in which we are going to discuss all the 6 posts. Particularly, we'll be talking about the syllabus of planning assistant, architectural assistant, assistant director planning, and assistant director architect. Other parts I might not go through. For the deputy director post, I might not go through the details of it, but I'll briefly talk about the syllabus of deputy director planning as well. Anyways, let us look into the assistant director vacancy for architects particularly. The assistant director architect is also a group A post with level 10 pay scale as per 7th pay commission, and 35 years is the age criteria, the maximum age limit. Essential and desirable qualifications are again given over here. Essential qualification, you should have your bachelor's degree in architecture. BArch is mandatory for assistant director, basically assistant director architect. Bachelor's degree should be in architecture. Post graduation qualification either in architecture or in urban design or conservation or landscape or building engineer. So basically masters in architecture, MArch with a specialization, with a particular specialization or without any specialization. General MArch also is sufficient enough. MArch in urban design, MArch in conservation, MArch in landscape, and also building engineering. Probably building engineer relates to masters in building engineering management. So if that is also considered to be an equivalent of this MArch degree as per the notification. And it is important that you have a membership with the Council of Architecture. That is also mandatory, essential requirement. Desirable, there are additional pointers which are desirable over and above the essential qualification. Associate membership of IIA, basically Institute, there's some typographic error. Probably they are talking about the IIA. And then 2 years of experience in a responsible capacity. So basically 2 years of work experience is also considered to be a desirable qualification. It's not essential, but if you have 2 years work experience only in architecture, there's no work experience in the desirable category for assistant director planner. Vacancies total is 8 vacancies, 6 are in the unreserved category, 1 each in EWS and SC category. Lastly, talking about the deputy director post, building engineer, I was telling you building engineering management is a master's degree offered in SPA. So that most probably that the building engineer relates to that post particularly, not any other PG diploma as such. Moving on to the vacancies and qualification for the deputy director post. Deputy director first architecture. It is again a group A post, and it is of level 11 pay scale of 7th pay commission. Age limit is 40 years of a maximum age limit is 40 years for deputy director post. The essential qualifications for architects in deputy director post would be masters in architecture, again same masters in architecture, or in urban design, or in conservation, or in landscape, or building engineer. That's the essential qualification for masters. Essential qualification for bachelors is BR for equivalence, so only BR plus MArch. That's the educational qualification. Other than that, it is also mandatory that you have 5 years of work experience in an architectural office or in a responsible capacity. So clearly, as per the notification, it is 5 years experience in the architectural office. So generally, if you have 5 years of other experience related to architecture, let us say something like in the profession of teaching in the field of architecture, generally that will not be considered as a equivalent experience. It should be a 5 year experience in an architectural office as per the essential qualifications. And also membership with Council of Architecture is mandatory. These are the essential qualifications for the deputy director post. It is also desirable for you to be a member of IIA, like in the previous case also, Indian Institute of Architects. If you are a member of that, that is a desirable qualification additionally. So it is always good, if you're targeting for these posts, you should work on the desirable qualification also before the deadline finishes. The total number of vacancies is 4, 1 for unreserved, 1 for EWS, 1 SC, and 1 OBC category. That's the breakup of the vacancies for assistant for deputy director architect. Moving on to the deputy director position in planning. Again, a group A post of level 11 7th pay commission. Age limit is not exceeding 40 years. Essential and desirable qualifications are again given. Taking you quickly through it. Essential qualifications, firstly at the bachelor's level, you can have bachelor's degree in planning or architecture or civil engineering or municipal engineering, or master's degree in geography, sociology, economics. Just like the assistant director position, it is similar educational requirement, but it is mandatory for you to have post graduation also in planning. So like I said, you can consider any implant degree as an equivalent one, but they have mentioned the specializations also: town planning, city planning, urban planning, housing, transport, environmental planning from recognized university or equivalent. So any equivalent implant degree generally is considered as to meet the essential criteria. And just like the deputy director architect, here also you should have at least 5 years of experience in planning office, in development authority or local body, or in government undertaking. So it is mandatory for you to have 5 years of experience in the area of planning after your master's degree particularly. And the desirable qualifications include, so additional desirable qualifications include a diploma or degree in GIS or geoinformatics, associate membership of ITPI. Again, these are the desirable qualifications. Additionally, for the deputy director post, there are a total of 40 vacancies, 2 in the unreserved category and 2 in the other backward class OBC category. So that's the overview of the six types of posts we have in the notification, and their corresponding pay scales, and also their corresponding essential and desirable qualifications along with the number of vacancies. I hope this part is clear. So let us move towards the understanding of the syllabus first. So let me take you to the syllabus of these positions based on the past. If you can give me a moment, I'll just. I'll take you to the past syllabus for these vacancies, for these posts of. So this is the official notification of 2019. Like I said, even in the subsequent notifications, like in 2020, 2022, and 2023 as well, the syllabus has been almost similar. So firstly, for the deputy director, first thing to note, for deputy director planning and assistant director planning, the syllabus has been same. Uh, any questions you feel you have a doubt on with respect to the qualification, also you can put it into the chat, and we'll take up the questions towards the end. Like I said, if you look into the past syllabus, for deputy director planning and also for assistant director planning, the syllabus is same. There are two parts in the syllabus. Let me also tell you the overall number of questions in all the 6 computer-based tests. It will be a computer-based test. For all the 6 posts, there will be 2 parts in the exam, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 will have 80 questions each, 80 questions in the part 1, 40 questions in the second part. So that's a standard type of say the question paper pattern for all the 6 positions, all the 6 posts. In part 1, let us first talk about the assistant director planning, where M-plan is required without work experience, or 5 years of work experience for deputy planner. So in the part 1, there are a total of I guess 6 sections. You can see fifth and sixth, there are a total of 6 sections mentioned. So if I just take, I'll not read it point by point, but I'll just take you through an overview and talk about, I have listed down the subjects also based on the official syllabus, but I also want you to have a look at the official syllabus first. So Section 1, now generally in the planning post, assistant town planner post in other procurement agencies, architecture topics are not generally included. The focus would be on urban planning, urban housing, probably planning technique management, GIS, survey, transportation. This would be the area of focus. But in DDA examination in the past also, and even in the official syllabus, architecture, core architecture topics are also included. So make a note of that, and if you're from planning background with B plan, you should particularly work on these areas to do well in the examination, because there are a good number of questions on the architecture topics as well. Section 1 is architecture, which focuses on topics of architectural styles and understanding Indian and Western history of architecture. Both, it is clearly mentioned, Indian and Western history of architecture. However, in the planning assistant exam in the past, there have been cases where there were no questions asked on Western history of architecture in the 2019 paper actually. So, but in the syllabus it is given Oriental, vernacular, traditional architecture, architectural development since Industrial Revolution, basically contemporary architectural styles, including modern art and architecture, Art Nouveau, eclecticism, international styles, postmodernism, deconstructivism. So various contemporary architectural styles are included. Recent trends in contemporary architecture, works and works of renowned architects, international, national. That is section 1, core architecture topics. Section 2 is environmental planning and design, where the focus is on ecosystems, ecological principles, concepts of environmental impact assessment, land suitability analysis, thermal comfort, ventilation, air movement. So there are some architectural topics again over here: thermal comfort, ventilation, air movement, principles of lighting, illumination, and climate responsive design, solar architecture. These are again core architecture topics. Not a huge number of questions, but a couple of 1 or 2 questions are asked generally from the illumination, acoustics topics also. Principles of architectural acoustics, green building rating including ECBC. So you generally get very basic questions from these topics in the planning exam. For example, in the planning assistant 2019 paper, from this topic, from this area, they asked only one question from green building principles and rating. They asked what is the full form of ECBC. That's the only question which was asked. So generally you get simple questions. Energy conservation building code, that was the answer. So you get such questions. Then you have environmental pollution, types, causes, controls, and abatement strategies. So that is section 2. In simple terms, section 2 focuses on environment and ecological principles, and also environmental pollution, some architectural topics like lighting, acoustics, and thermal comfort, ventilation, and climatology. So that's about section 2. The third section, I hope you remember, we are talking about the assistant director and deputy director planning vacancy. And make a note, even for planning assistant, the syllabus is more or less very similar, with some topics subtracted. There are some topics which are removed in the planning assistant vacancy generally. So that's the reason. So basically these two posts, planning assistant and assistant director planning, say 85% of the syllabus is same. So all the syllabus of planning assistant is included in the assistant director planning, but for assistant director planning exam you need to study some extra topics. So even in the classes, when you join, if you are joining into the KP classes coaching for the planning posts, planning assistant and assistant director planning, for these two vacancies the classes generally would be common. Just that for assistant director planning vacancy there will be some extra classes in addition to the planning assistant. The section 3 focuses on urban planning and housing, the core planning topics now. Urban planning and housing process, types of plan including understanding master plan, city development plan, structure plan, zonal plan, so on. And you also have the TOD concepts of cities like eco city, smart city, transit oriented development, SEZ. Affordable, no, under housing you have housing typology, slum, affordable housing, housing for special needs, and housing standards, residential densities, and national housing policy schemes and government programs. That is included in the third section under urban planning and housing. So everything related to planning theories, right away starting from planning theories, planning process, and housing concepts, all that is included in the third section. Fourth section again is a core planning topic focused on planning technique management, where you focus on topics of survey, physical, topographical, land use, socio-economic surveys, methods of spatial and non-spatial data analysis, graphic representation of data, and also decision support system, GIS and remote sensing mainly, urban economics, and also financial appraisal techniques, URDPFI guidelines and standards of that, management of infrastructure. That is included in the subject of planning technique management. Broadly speaking, in the subject of PTM planning technique management, you have GIS, remote sensing, And you have survey, types of survey and understanding the standards of survey and different types of survey. Then you have urban economics and land economics, including the law of demand and supply of land, and financial appraisal techniques of project, that is included in the fourth section. Section 5 is focused on the physical infrastructure, basically services, infrastructure and transportation, where the focus is on topics like transportation, water supply, sewage, drainage, solid waste management, electricity and communications, and the detailed topics of transport and transport survey. So that is also traffic survey, that is also included over here. You have traffic flow characteristics, principles of transportation planning, traffic engineering, hierarchy of loads and level of service, and also paratransit, mass transit, so on, pedestrian, slow moving traffic, intelligent transport systems. All the topics related to transportation are given in the fifth section. Sixth and final section in the part 1 is focused on planning legislation and GIS. So an extension to PTM, planning technique management itself. You have planning legislation, basically acts and other development management maintenance of Delhi and other towns of NCR, municipal corporation and local bodies, land acquisition act, PPP, public private partnership mode, and also local self LSG, local self governance. So these concepts are included in the section 6. You also have some additional pointers given in the syllabus, which focuses on planning issues related to Delhi NCR, and also policy, so best practices, basically the best practices of policy in planning, that is included. Then Delhi Development Act of 1957 is also included. Let me tell you, this is given in the syllabus, you have to study it, but in the past generally questions have not been asked from these areas. That doesn't mean is baar bhi nahi aayega. It is very much possible that you get questions from these areas. So DDA sometimes becomes very unpredictable. One year they will give you a lot of questions from a topic. The next year or the next time the exam happens, they might leave that topic apart and go to another subject. So you have to create a balance. You should understand the past pattern, you should go by the syllabus as well. So it should be a combination of both, and that's what we exactly do in the classes. We will create a appropriate balance between the past pattern, past exam questions, and also based on the official syllabus. So DD Act of 1957, then you have the Master Plan of Delhi right away from 1962 to 21. Even right now, I think it would be only till 2021 master plan, because master plan 2041 is still in the draft stage. So generally, probably having a basic idea on the theme of master plan 2041 and what are some changes in it, having a broad idea should be sufficient, because it is in draft stage. I hope in the exam they will only include master plan of Delhi from 62 to 21. Then you have the unified building bylaws of 2016 and other building bylaws approved or notified by Government of India time to time. So basically bylaws and standards, development control standards, that is under this section 2. So all this for 80 questions in the question paper, 80 marks in the question paper. There will be negative marking of 0.33 for every incorrect answer. All the questions will be of 1 mark. So 80 questions, 80 marks from part 1. In the second part, this is something which is common for all the exams, be it the level 7 post like planning or architectural assistant, or even level 11 posts like deputy director, architect and planner. These 40 marks is constant, and let me tell you right away in the introductory class itself, these 40 marks are very crucial for you to qualify the examination, because this is something which is fixed. There might be some topic wherein which higher number of questions might be asked or less number of questions might, but something which is for sure constant is this part. 40 questions, 10 questions on reasoning, 10 questions on quantitative aptitude. DDA doesn't give an elaborate topic list for every subtopic list for these 4 areas. You should basically focus on the understanding of important areas of reasoning, logical reasoning, basically quantitative aptitude, general awareness, basic general knowledge, and also English language, which includes comprehension and also English grammar both. So these 40 marks is included in the second part. Here also you will be having negative mark of 0.33. In the classes, in the coaching program, for all the vacancies, for all the posts which we are going to take the classes for, these portions will be covered, but you will be getting a recorded lecture for these areas of quant, reasoning, general awareness, reasoning. For this area, because we are already on a time crunch, the exam would be just say 3 months after now. So we have to complete this vast syllabus within 3 months. So for that, you can cover these areas at your self-paced study. Reasoning, quant, general awareness in English, this will be allotted to you in a recorded format. Whenever you have time, you can cover it. You will be having additional practice tests for these areas so that you can practice them and sharpen your skills in these areas and to increase your marks basically. Other than this, the complete syllabus of the first part, part 1, would be covered through live classes for all the vacancies. So we will be having classes for assistant director planning and planning assistant, and also architectural assistant. For these exams, we will be having the classes conducted. So that was the syllabus for assistant director planning and deputy director planning. Moving on to the deputy director architect, and that syllabus based on the past pattern. Now this is a very elaborate syllabus, a very lengthy one. I'll not read it point by point. I'll just take you through the subheadings with a broad understanding. So under deputy director position for architect, you have architectural design, focused on designing of commercial buildings and large scale buildings. Then you have building construction and material, various construction material including PVC or aluminum cladding, so on, and construction details, wardrobe details, staircase detail, toilet detail, kitchen detail. If you have experience on working on those details, you can answer the questions from this particular exam. And you also have energy efficient buildings and its construction details. Then you have urban design, vocabulary of urban design elements and history of urban design, circulation. Then you have structural design, advanced structural design focused on types of structures including form active, surface active, vector active, bulk active structures, the classification. Then you have steel joints and so on. Then you have building services. For deputy director architect, you need 5 years of work experience, and there are 4 vacancies. For this vacancy, we are not going to conduct classes. Our classes would be for assistant director, planning assistant, and architectural assistant. These are the vacancies for which we'll be having the classes for. Building services focused on acoustics, sound and so on, acoustical material, fire safety, human comfort. Then you have history of architecture, Western history of architecture particularly, and understanding the technology and town planning also of that era. Indian history of architecture, post-independence, before independence, and also colonial architecture, British architecture, early Indian architecture, focused on Indus Valley civilization, Vedic period. Everything is covered in the, and also the principles of Vastu Shastra, so on, are included in the history part. Then you have estimation and costing with understanding of BOQ, long wall, short wall method, different methods of estimation and so on. Then you have building bylaws and office management, including project management, time analysis, CPM, PERT, so on. Specifications, excavation, earthwork, foundation, DPC, brick masonry, concreting, etc. Then you have research methodology also as a part of the syllabus, including data collection, compilation, analysis, report writing, and preparation of synopsis. Professional practice, understanding Architects Act 1972, role of COA, IIA, UI, and so on. Then you have interior design, history, theory, studying constraints of interior design, housing. So you see, very elaborate syllabus it is for the deputy director architect. Then you have green architecture, regional planning, architectural conservation, right away from basics to advanced level. Building maintenance, including the finance and budgeting of the maintenance. Energy conscious architecture, understanding energy, use of energy, and also optimizing that. Then second part, 40 marks is fixed for every exam. I told you, reasoning, quant, general awareness, English, those 40 marks are fixed for any vacancy. So like I said, for deputy director architect, we are not going to conduct the classes for this particular post because it's very elaborate. It has to be dealt at a self-steady manner because of the time constraint. Even if we start taking classes, it is impossible for us to teach and do justice to that lengthy syllabus completely within 3 months. That is something which you need to prioritize and do a self-study. So we're not conducting classes for that particular post. As far as the assistant director architect, again, it's a bit lengthy in terms of the syllabus. This, let me very quickly take you through this as well. We're not going to have classes for the assistant director architect too. The syllabus includes architectural design again, architectural design with focus on various important architects and their works. The list of architects is given. Then you have building construction material, including the steel joints, RCC frame structure, steel staircase, RCC staircase, and detail. Structural design with focus on RCC, design of beams, design of slabs, types of RCC slabs, two-way slab, one-way slab, and design of it. And also bending moment diagram, shear force diagram, the T beams, L beams, and so on. RCC footing, so foundation design on column footing also is included. Building services, including focus on climatology, understanding climate, microclimate, thermal comfort, ventilation, air conditioning, air movement, and so on. Then you have graphics with focus on 1 point, 2 point, 3 point perspective, and also shadow and shading analysis. Now this is more of a practical area, but it is included in the syllabus. They could ask you some questions on the basics of it. Then you have history of architecture with focus on Indian subcontinent and also European Western history of architecture. Landscape design and also building services with a focus on lighting. Then communication skills of English. These 10 sections are given for 80 marks of weightage in the assistant director architect vacancy. Then you have 40 marks fixed for the same 4 areas: reasoning, quant, general awareness, and English language. So moving on, the next vacancy I would like to discuss. So we are left out with 2 more vacancies and the syllabus of it: planning assistant and architectural assistant. For these, we would be having sure, Pallavi, it would be shared with you on the And actually the session would be recorded, and I hope it would be available, and also the PDF will share it with you for sure. You can drop a message on the official or not office number, and you will be shared with it. So planning assistant, or if possible, I'll share it on the group as well. I hope you people have a group, and I'll share it over there. So planning assistant, as far as the syllabus is considered, like I told you earlier too, for planning assistant, the syllabus is very similar to the assistant director planning with some topics removed. So instead of 6, you have 4 sections only. You have architecture section 1, architecture. We already had a discussion on it. Western history of architecture, Indian history of architecture, contemporary works, including architects and their works as well. That is included in the first section of architecture. Second section, like we discussed, it is environmental planning and design, which focuses on ecosystems, environmental impact assessment, and ecological principles, environmental pollution, green building rating systems, including ECBC and performance simulation, solar architecture, and climate responsive design. It is exactly same as the assistant director planning vacancy, the second section of it, but some topics are removed in the assistant director planning. You also have topics of lighting and acoustics clearly mentioned in the environmental planning and design, but here there is no mention of lighting and illumination and acoustics, so probably that would not be a part. That said, in the past, if you look at the planning assistant exam in the past, there have been a couple of questions on lighting illumination as well. So you should not leave out those topics too completely. So for the classes, when you join for the planning assistant vacancy, we will cover everything of the official syllabus with some additional topics based on the past paper pattern also. The third section is services, infrastructure and transportation, focused on transportation, water supply, sewage, drainage, solid waste management and electricity, mainly those areas. Electrification questions have not been asked in the past, but that's the syllabus for section 3. The fourth one is planning, legislation and GIS, which includes the planning, basically an extension to PTM we discussed. Similarly, that is included in the syllabus. And in the assistant director planning, there were 4 points additionally mentioned, including Delhi Development Act, master plan, there was unified building bylaws, and you also had the planning policy and best practices. So the best practices part and unified bylaws are removed here. You only have Delhi Development Act of 1957, master plan of Delhi and the evolution of it from 1962 to 2021. Like I said, major questions have not been asked from these areas, but it is given in the syllabus. You can expect questions in the future for sure. We are expecting a similar syllabus because this has not changed in the past patterns, but once we get the official syllabus of this year, if there are any modifications or changes in the syllabus, accordingly that will be incorporated into the course. You need not worry on that part. 40 marks again fixed for reasoning, quant, general awareness and English. That's planning assistant. And lastly, the official syllabus of the architectural assistant. For this, you would be having the live online classes starting again from 20th of September. So from 20th of September, you'll be having classes for assistant director planning, planning assistant and architectural assistant for these courses. The first part includes building materials and construction, understanding parts of building, building brick masonry, different types of brickworks, and also stone and stone masonry. Brick and stone basically is covered under building construction materials. Then you have structural design with understanding of loads, moments, forces. IS 875, which basically is focused on the different types of load in structural design. So that is IS 875, that is included. Shear force, bending moment, center of gravity, moment of inertia, the forces in simple wooden trusses and design of wooden trusses, the structural design of wooden trusses, that is included in structures. The third part is architectural graphics, which focuses on drafting lines, orthographic projections, representing solids, lettering. There are standards and there are a code of practices for lettering and so on. So that is included. Drawing scales and also graphics, architectural graphic symbols has been a part of questions in every year's as architectural assistant. They'll give you a picture and ask you what it represents in architectural drawings. That is included. Then you also have standard formats of drawing. Then fourth topic is history of architecture, both Indian history of architecture right away from Indus Valley to the different types of temple architecture, including Jain temple, North Indian temple, South Indian temple architecture, and also Chalukyan architecture. Then you have Western history of architecture, focused on the ancient styles like Mesopotamian, Sumerian, Babylonian, so on, Egyptian, Greek, Roman, and church architectural styles, including early Christian, Romanesque, and Gothic. That's history of architecture. And design theory, principles of design, elements of design. I'm sure you know this very basic part. It's basics of design, understanding balance, emphasis, focus. This is an area where you get a lot of questions in the exam for sure. At least there are 6 to 8 questions asked on principles of design, basics of design generally. And then you have architectural design again is mentioned with a focus on design, representing 3D objects in 2D. Structural design again, timber structures, timber beams, timber columns, timber trusses, the structural design of that is included. Then you have building services focused on sewerage system and water supply. So water supply, sewage system, solid waste management, rainwater drainage. Then you have surveying and leveling, an important topic. Every year 10 plus questions have been asked in architectural assistant paper from surveying and leveling, which includes excuse me, chain surveying, compass surveying, leveling, contouring, and so on, focused on topographic maps. Lastly, environmental studies focused on renewable, non-renewable sources, ecosystems, biodiversity, environmental pollution, social issues of environment and human population, so on. That's given. Then the second part again is constant. The same four topics with 10 marks each, 10 marks on reasoning, 10 on quant, 10 on general awareness, and 10 on English language. So 40 marks for this. So that's with respect to the syllabus for all the posts which we were discussing about. Let me also now summarize what we looked into and have an understanding on the list of subjects. How are we going to take you through the classes? Let me very clearly also clear this out. Clear the classes which are starting from 20th of September. We'll be covering mainly for three types of vacancies. So we'll be having live online classes for the planning assistant vacancy, architectural assistant, and also the assistant director planning. Deputy Director Planning also, the syllabus is same. So if you are applying for Deputy Director, the same syllabus should work for you as well. So for these vacancies, we will be having the classes starting from 20th of September. In this, I told you for Planning Assistant and Assistant Director Planning, the syllabus is almost 75 to more than 75, actually 80% is same. The syllabus is overlapping, almost 80% syllabus is same for these two, Planning Assistant and Assistant Director Planning. If you are applying for both, probably you should target by enrolling into the Assistant Director Plan, because here there will be some extra lectures additionally, which would be only provided to the Assistant Director Planning, not the Planning Assistant. So that's the planning part. And you'll be having classes separately for the Architectural Assistant. For all the three posts, there are very few areas which are overlapping. So mostly the classes would be separate for Architecture batch and the Planning batch. You can enroll into both. Like I said, both are starting from 20th of September. That's it. For all the classes, you will be having live online classes for part 1, part 2, wherein you are having a weightage of 40 marks. Very important again, that is 40 marks is 1/3 of the overall weightage. For this, you would be having recorded lectures for your self-paced study, and you will also be having practice tests. For this area, to actually score well, practice is very important. So you'll be having additional practice tests for this part along with the recorded classes. You can cover that at your self-paced study along with the live online classes. Classes will be conducted approximately on an average 4 days per week till the end of this year, because that's when we are targeting the exam to be conducted. So make a note of that if you're interested for the classes and the preparation. As far as the list of subjects are considered, this is analysis of the past paper basically of the planning assistant particularly. So if you see tagging of various subjects as per the official on the left part, these are the various subjects as per the official syllabus, the 4 sections and the additional pointers like master plan and all. Like I told you, there have been no questions asked on master plan in this paper particularly. I think this is 2019 paper analysis and the marks distribution. There was no question on Western history of architecture. And if you look into the weightage from official syllabus, you don't have all the questions asked from the official syllabus. These are some additional topics. These additional topics have not been clearly mentioned in the syllabus. For example, urban planning and planning theories. A huge number of questions were asked, but urban planning and housing is mentioned in the syllabus only for the assistant director planning, not for planning assistant. But a good number of questions are asked on both urban planning and housing. So we will not leave out urban planning completely, even though it is not in the syllabus. We will cover because it is expected to be an important part in the exam. Then survey GIS is actually mentioned, but survey, remote sensing and financial appraisal, even though is not mentioned, 6 to 7 questions have been asked from that area. Lighting and acoustics are not given in the syllabus for planning assistant, but four questions on lighting, 1 on acoustics were asked in the planning assistant paper. So we will conduct probably a couple of classes to learn the basics of acoustics and lighting and solve the past papers in the class. Then you would be also so there were questions on additional topics like general understanding of earthquake, materials, project management, basics of design as in the principles of design basically. That is not in the syllabus for the planning assistant, but around 8 questions were asked from that area. Urban design also is not given in the syllabus for the planning assistant, but 5 questions were asked from that area. So additional areas should be covered. So these are additional areas, additional subjects which have been identified from the past papers, which will be taught based on their importance in the class. All the topics of the official syllabus. There are topics in the official syllabus which are not covered in the exam, like DD Act and Master Plan, but still we have to study that. Like I told you, it is just a chance that questions were not asked in this paper, but in the future you can always expect, because we'll have to cover that. There were no questions on solid waste management. There were no questions on environmental impact assessment, vulnerability and land suitability analysis. Also questions are not asked but are a part of the official syllabus. So that's about the mapping. So in nutshell, remember that core areas of planning for planning assistant, like urban planning, housing, PTM, these are important. And other than that, the core areas of planning including environmental planning, that is ecology, and also planning legislation, you can see, has a good weightage. Transportation also has a very good weightage. Water supply, the infrastructure part, water supply, sewage and plumbing also has a good weightage. So understanding the syllabus and the past pattern and balancing both is important in the preparation. And like I told you, 40 marks for these 4 sections, a very crucial part to boost up your score. That is very important in the exam. Practice and attending the concept, learning the concepts through the lectures, both is important. Once you enroll into the classes, you will be provided with a detailed course structure, something of this sort, wherein you'll be having the list of topics and you would be having access to the ebooks covering all the topics, those most of the topics, if not everything. And you will also have sectional tests for each of the topics as well included in the course. As far as the architectural similar analysis, so this is the list of subjects and modules for architectural assistant. You would be having access to a total of 5 books, 5 ebooks. If you are not good, or if you don't want to read from computer and through an ebook, you can always opt for the physical printed copy as well, with an additional printing charges, I guess. So but when you enroll into the course, you would be provided ebooks irrespective of it is included in the course, the ebooks, which covers all the topics. So first book focuses on history of architecture, contemporary styles and so on. Second book focuses on materials, construction, project management. Third book focuses on infrastructure and services, including water supply, plumbing, solid lighting and acoustics, I told you. Is also an area where questions have been asked, so that is included too. Then you have environmental study, surveying and leveling, including the surveying and leveling, and also ecology part. And quant and reasoning also, an ebook will be provided for that. Official documents of unified building bylaws and master plan of Delhi, which are a part of syllabus, those official documents also will be uploaded for your reference. That's the architectural assistant post, and the class structure for it. And the subject analysis and weightage, if you see the past pattern, this is the analysis of the 2023 architectural assistant question paper. If you look into it, a good balance of all the topics was observed, almost all the topics with very few exceptions. Like coincidentally, there was no question on building construction or estimation and specification. Other than that, there were questions from every topic, starting from Western history of architecture, Indian history of architecture, contemporary architecture, almost 4 to 5 questions on every topic. Then 4 questions on the graphics part, 6 on basics of design. Basics of design focuses basically on understanding elements and principles of design. Architectural graphics focuses on lettering standards, the standard symbols in architectural drawings, that is architectural graphics. Then you have computer applications, basics of CAD, AutoCAD based questions have been generally asked. Building materials, a few questions on that. Project management, structural design, structures is an important area. Structures of wooden and timber structures was in the syllabus. So, and also the IS 875, I guess, that IS code also covering that. There are 9 questions. Water supply, plumbing, solid waste management, also there were a couple of questions, 2 questions. Then lighting, acoustics, HVAC, fire safety, these are minor topics, 1 to 2 questions on each of it. Ecology as well, 2 questions. Then climate responsive design and climatology, 4 questions on that have been asked. 2 on building rating systems and natural resources disaster management. Surveying, leveling and contouring is an important area. In 2023, only 4 questions were asked. But if you look into the architectural assistant papers before that, in 2020 or 2019, almost 10 questions were asked on surveying and leveling in the 2019 paper. So the weightage varies every year, but generally you will have questions from almost all the topics, and nothing was out of syllabus in the architectural assistant paper in the past generally. 4 topics, actually there are questions on urban design, which is not in the official syllabus but have been asked. There are 10 questions on urban design and various standards. Building standards basically is included in the syllabus, so you have questions on that as well. Then quant reasoning, general awareness and English, like I told you, 40 marks for that. That is almost fixed for every paper. Remember, the duration of the exam will be only 2 hours, 120 minutes, and you need to answer 120 questions with accuracy because there is negative marking. So covering entire syllabus within 3 months is first target, and doing that effectively in the 2 hour examination, that is the second important thing you need to accomplish. So a thorough preparation focused on the syllabus and past papers is very important. If you are interested to have thorough preparation within these 3 to 4 months for the upcoming exam without any further delay, you can enroll into the batches. Like I told you, you can contact us on the official number of ours, 956025266. Drop a message on WhatsApp as well, and our counselors will get back to you. It is almost towards the end of our working hours, so probably you'll get a response tomorrow. You can drop a message, however, on this number, on the WhatsApp number, and you will be shared with the steps of enrolling into the batch. Any further questions, you can always you can put your queries into the chat and they'll take up your questions now. Okay, see a lot of questions already, so let me very quickly go to the beginning first. Aditya, I think I answered your question. Will the batches be common? I told you it is 80% common for assistant director planning and planning assistant. Architectural assistant, very less overlapping topics are there. For few topics, there could be overlapping classes, common classes. Some experience required for deputy director, absolutely yes. There are 5-year experiences required for deputy director. I did answer this question. What if age is 30 but but the category is OBC? Devender, you will be having an age relaxation of 3 years for the OBC category. So it is 30 plus 3 years, 33 years. Pallavi has a question. I am my final year of M-Plan. Can I apply? Pallavi, if you are targeting to get your degree before the closing date of this, then yes, you can apply. But the requirement is you should have the qualification before the final date of the application, that is 5th of November. Otherwise, you will not be eligible for the assistant director post. You should be applying for the planning. You'll be eligible for the planning assistant for sure. I think that answers your question, Pallavi. Then I have BR. Can I apply for both? Obviously, yes, you can do it for both. Rupesh, we had a detailed discussion on the syllabus already. Lalit has a question. Is the video on YouTube? Lalit, I'm not sure if this will be on YouTube, but for sure the recorded session would be shared with you if you have enrolled into this seminar. You can drop a message on our office number and you'll be shared with the link to view the complete lecture. Is there an interview for assistant director planning? Shraddha, I did answer that. Yes, there will be an interview for the assistant director post other than the test. Just the exam-based selection is for planning assistant and architectural assistant. Building engineer, I did answer that. I think it is building engineering management. Basically, that's the building engineer post. The age is below 35. Is it eligible to apply? Obviously, anyone below 35 also you can apply. The maximum age is limited. Minimum age criteria is 21 years for all the vacancies. So minimum you should be of 21 years age. Generally, that's the minimum criteria in DDA exams. Pallavi has a question for assistant planner and assistant architect. Do we need to have registration of COA? Pallavi, no, it is not mandatory. But I would suggest you for architectural assistant, it is better if you have it, because in this document verification round, they might ask you for the COI registration. And even though it is not a mandatory requirement for application, for assistant, architectural assistant, for planning assistant, obviously COI registration is not required. Does 5th-year applying student eligible for assistant architect exam? Like I told again, if you are getting your degree before the finish of this of this application date, then yes, you will be eligible. So if you are getting your BArch degree before 5th of November, then you're eligible. Otherwise, 5th years, ongoing 5th year students cannot apply for the post. When you have classes for assistant director architect, Sakshi, like I said, for architectural assistant we'll be having classes. We will not cover the entire syllabus of assistant director architect. If you can see the overlapping areas yourself and see if assistant architectural assistant helps you, probably you can look into it and cover the additional areas if that works out. But there are no dedicated classes for assistant director architect, at least not at this point of time. Once the official syllabus is out, if this year they are having a similar syllabus, then probably we might include assistant architect, assistant director also. I think that answers your question, your query, Sakshi. Then I have a PG in project management, 5 years of architectural design experience in architecture. Can I apply for deputy architect? For deputy architect, this is deputy director architect. It is required that you have your post graduation in architecture or building engineer. So project management post graduation, I think, is not considered to be a degree as per the essential qualification. However, there are two things. One, you can take the risk and apply for it, prepare for it, and hope that they will select, because they will generally consider it as equivalent. You can hope and ask for that. That is number one. But if you don't want to spend your energy into preparation because there is a chance of not getting selected, then that's your call. So you should decide at your personal level how important is it for you to get into this post. So that's one. Number two, you can try to reach out to the people at DDA's office, and on the helpline number they provide in the notification, and you can drop an email and talk to them, that because no one else can give you a clarification on that other than DDA authorities. I think that answers your question. Can you share the PDF of the syllabus? I told you, Achal, I'll try to share that. I missed most part of the session. Is there any other way to attend the whole session? Kunal, yes, the recorded session will be made available to you. Link of it will be shared in the group, or you can drop a message on our office number and they'll share you the recorded session. Um Other than that, I'm in the last year of MTech town country planning. I'm eligible for the assistant director post. Madhuri, you can apply for the post only if you will have your M-Plan degree with you before the closing of the application. So if you're still pursuing, that is not considered as meeting the requirement. Essential qualification should be met. You should have the degree. Can you give paper for planning assistant as well as architectural assistant? Soumya, you can apply for both for sure. But if the exam is on same day by chance, generally that doesn't happen. In the past, it did not happen for architecture and planning assistant. Exam was on different days. But if it is on same day, then you can attend only one exam. But generally, they will have it on different days. You can apply for sure for both, because we don't know the exact exam schedule at this point of time. How can we apply for the classes? Gaurang, I told you, drop a message on this by mentioning which course you're interested in. You would be shared with the, or you can, if you have downloaded a KPGate classes mobile app, the courses are already live there. You can directly go to the store, select the suitable course and enroll into it right away on our mobile app as well. You can do that yourself too. All the resources will be provided, the live classes and the link for it will be shared in due course of time for you. Pallavi has a question: is 4 days per week enough to complete the syllabus plus revision? Pallavi will be having classes on an average 4 days per week, but obviously revision you'll need to spend additional time for that. So if you are asking me how much time is required, I would say on an average 3 hours per day for the remaining 3 months. That should be a good amount of time to complete and study everything as per the syllabus. Will recorded videos be provided for the missed classes? Samriddhi, absolutely. All the lectures, all the live classes, if you miss it, you can watch the recording. All our live classes will be provided with a recorded backup, and you can access the recorded backup till the date of the examination any number of times. If you have the internet connectivity, you can always check the recorded lectures. All the classes will be available with recorded backup. I'm getting passed next year as masters in urban planning. Which am I eligible? Gautami, you will be eligible based on your bachelor's degree. Assuming you have bachelor's in architecture, you can apply for architectural assistant and planning assistant. Your master's, because it is not yet completed, you cannot apply for the deputy director or assistant director vacancies. I have done BARC and implant 2 years of experience in planning. Which post can I apply? Ayushi, you will be eligible for the best vacancy, or the best post you can apply, Ayushi, would be the assistant director planning, because you have masters and bachelors, masters in planning, bachelors, and 2 years experience in planning. So you are also meeting the desirable qualifications there. Uh, so actually the desirable qualification is an assistant director architect. So anyways, assistant director planning will be the most suitable vacancy for you, Ayushi. But at the same time, you can apply for architectural assistant, planning assistant as well, just as a practice. But your focus should be on assistant director planning mainly. Even I don't have ITPI membership, Gautami, that you still have time, right? Because there is still 1.5 month of time to complete this application. So you can start working on the desirable qualification and ITPI membership at the earliest. Start applying and work on it. I think you will get it within 1 month for sure. Um, if someone is already enrolled for the MES batch, do you suggest to join the classes for DDA separately? Is it possible to enroll for part 2 recorded classes only? Khushbu, I think you can drop a message to our counselors. They'll guide you what is appropriate and what is best for you. But there will be clashes for the MES batch and for the DDA batch. So you can reach out and they'll guide you on what best approach you can have for your preparation. The post of deputy director planning, will the experience prior to M-Plan be also considered only M-Plan experience? Raj, I think even the experience before your M-Plan will be considered, given that it is in the area and domain of planning with an urban local body. That's written in the notification. So if you meet those criteria, for sure they will consider that. So it should be relevant experience. That's it. Are you conducting course on just planning assistant? It is different from your planning foundation course. Chandrakant, I think if you're already enrolled into the planning foundation course, I think majority of the syllabus would be covered as a part of it already. So you can cross check the syllabus, official syllabus, and the contents of the planning foundation course. But majority of it, like I said, is covered already in that. Abhishek, you can check it out on the app actually. Download the KPK classes app with this logo. You'll find the fees. As far as I can recall, I think the fees is somewhere around 13,500 if I'm not wrong, or something less than that too. It's possible to be less than that. So check on the app. You can drop a message on this number. You'll get all the details of the fee and the enrollment process. Uh, 4 months, can we complete the whole syllabus with revision? I did answer that, Soumya, already. If you're able to spend 3 hours per day for the next 3 months, yes, you can do the syllabus within the time of the exam. And most importantly, it's Swamya, right? Swamya. Most importantly, everyone has the same amount of time. So there's no other possibility. You have to complete it in this time duration. So that's about it. I have a PG diploma in architecture. Am I eligible for assistant director? PG diploma is not considered generally as a postgraduate. You should have a full-time MArch degree for the assistant director. Just want to prepare for planning. Do I have to enroll for both architecture and planning? Chandrakant, no. If you are only targeting for planning course, you can separately enroll for the planning course itself. Like I told you already, we would be having 3 separate batches: for planning assistant, architectural assistant, and assistant director planning. So you can just enroll for the planning assistant or assistant director planning, whichever you want to. And if you have any query on which is suitable for you, you can always reach out to our counselors on the number. They will guide you on what is best suitable for you. Uh, Sakshi has a question. Assistant Director, Architect Test Series. Sakshi, we are not targeting other posts other than these, like I told you. Uh, so how many months will it take to complete the syllabus in class? Aditi, it will go on till the end of the year. That is till December, mid-December at least. The classes will go on till then to complete the syllabus, entire syllabus. I'm passing. I did answer this question, Gautami, already. I have done my master's in construction project management. Am I applicable? Can I apply for deputy architect? For deputy director architect, Durga, you should have a MArch degree or a building engineer degree. So project management that probably might be considered as an equivalent of building engineer. So that you need to get a clarification from the DDA people. It's and drop them an email, and then hopefully they should respond to you within a couple of days. So I cannot give you 100% straightforward answer on it, because it depends on their discretion, what they consider as building engineer, right? Resident of Haryana, does OBT certificate count as OBC in Delhi? Devendra, as far as I am aware, yes, because this is DDA comes under the central government. So OBC certificate, I guess, from any state should be considered as an OBC. It's not necessary for you to be from the state of Delhi itself, from my understanding. You can check the notification once again to just be 100% sure on it. I told on that already, Rishita. There is no limit. Anyone from any state can apply. There is no requirement, special requirement on residential permit as such. Abhishek, will there be interview for assistant director? If yes, would you take mock interview? Abhishek, yes. If for all the candidates who qualify the computer-based test, we will provide guidance session for the interview. Now, it could either be a guidance session where some expert will talk about the importance and how to work on interview, or it could be one-on-one mock interview also. So that is on future stage after the computer-based test. But most probably for all those who clear the computer-based test, interview guidance would be provided from our end for sure. Now, what mode of guidance would that be? That is decided in the future stages only. I enrolled into the GATE classes. Do I need to separately enroll into this, Ishika? So for GATE, the syllabus would be completed by, so depends on when you started. But if you have already enrolled into the GATE batch much earlier, most of the syllabus will be already covered for this. So depends on when you have joined, because the exam for this is in December, January. GATE classes enough. Web, like I said, majority of the syllabus will be covered. For architecture post, other than GATE, there are a couple of subjects like surveying and leveling is not a topic of GATE architecture generally, but here you will have that. So 1 or 2 subjects additionally you will need to study if you have already covered the GATE topics. For assistant director in Planning, will they consider experience or just masters? Just masters is eligible, Gaurang. No, B plan plus experience is not considered as masters equivalent. You should have masters too for sure. Can you please repeat the fee structure, the details for assistant planning, both online and offline? Ashutosh, we are only having online batch for these, and the course fee, the details of the course fee will be shared by our counselors on this number. You can drop a message here, or you can check out a mobile app. You can open the KP Gate Classes mobile app. In the store, you will find all the courses and the course fee there. Um, Age is 35. Which post am I eligible? Depends on your qualification, but 35 is the maximum age limit for assistant director, architect, and assistant director planning. So you can apply for assistant director, planning assistant, architectural assistant, given you meet the eligibility educational criteria. Tentative cutoff for assistant planning when the students post after result. Ashutosh, now that is a very vague. I cannot give you a straightforward answer on that because it changes every year. Will interview preparation be also included? Shraddha, like I told you, all qualified students who clear the computer-based test will be provided with interview guidance. A free session on the training of it will be for sure provided. But for one-on-one mock interviews, generally it would be on chargeable basis in the future. But guidance would be provided. A free guidance session by an expert would be provided who themselves have cleared such government interviews. They would be giving you guidance. So that will be a part for all the students who clear the computer-based test. Uh, but that is something which will be decided in the later stage after the test result. Is there a separate center for computer-based test? Parishma, yes, they will allot a center. You'll need to download the admit card and accordingly computer-based test will be provided. Uh, Mock test will be included in the course. So basically past paper also will be provided as a part of the test series, and you'll have a full length mock as well, at least one or two mocks. One mock for sure will be provided, and we'll try to provide at least two mocks as well for every post. So mock test is basically a 2-hour exam, just like the actual examination. You can attempt it in your test series. Will the same coaching for planning assistant be also helpful for the GATE exam? Ashutosh, no, because but see, for sure it would be partially helpful, but GATE is more numerical in approach. We don't have numericals in the DDA exam, so our focus would not be on that. So it partially it would be helpful, but this will not cover the entire GATE syllabus for sure. Being an existing KP class student, how to join this batch? Noshin, you should work on the recorded lectures for some of the classes if you're already in the GATE classes. And for that reason, also for existing students and past KP classes students, you will be provided with discount as well. But yeah, there will be classes if you're in some other course already. And you'll need to manage on that part by covering the recorded lectures. So you have to decide if you can work and spend extra time to cover the recorded lectures as well. Is it possible to enroll for both planning assistant, architectural assistant, director planning as I've done in plan? Gaurang, yes, you can enroll into both. You can apply for both the posts. You can enroll into both the classes as well. Uh, App is KP Gate Classes. KP Gate Classes is the name of the mobile app. There's very less vacancy in architecture compared to planning. Sure, yes. Gaurang, yes, there will be 1/3 negative marking. 0.33 is the negative marking. Past cutoffs are not publicly available, Chandrakant, but probably we can have a discussion on that some other day. I don't have the data with me right now. Okay. Chalo, I think I answered all of your queries. Any further query, you can reach out to us on our number and our counselors will be glad to help you out. And I hope to meet you soon on the 20th of September when our batches classes start for your preparation. Thank you, everyone.
KP Classes, dedicated to excellence.